You are listening to Aftersight. This recording is intended solely for individuals who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you for joining us for the August 8th, 2024 Thursday reading of the Montrose and Delta News, as seen in the August 5th, 2024 edition of the Montrose Mirror. Today we will be reading the following main articles. Stage 1 fire restrictions beginning in Montrose County, a special to the Mirror. Altrusa Club continues community service after celebrating 49 years, Part 2, written by Carol Ann McKelvey. And a look back, Nature Eater woman reported missing, written by Bob Cox. And following up with any miscellaneous articles. And let's begin. Regional news briefs. Stage 1 fire restrictions beginning in Montrose County. Special to the Mirror. Montrose. The unincorporated area of Montrose County will implement Stage 1 fire restrictions on Friday, August 2nd. Extreme fire danger, high temperatures and worsening dry conditions were the deciding factors in this decision. Restrictions will take effect at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, August 2nd. Quote, "The fire danger is extreme at this time. In light of the currently burning Bucktail fire on the west end of Montrose County and other regional fires, I want to do everything we can to keep our property, homes and communities safe," said Sheriff Lillard. "Thank you for your cooperation and for doing your part to prevent wildfires. Under Stage 1 fire restrictions, open burning of any kind, including agricultural burning, open campfires and fireworks, is prohibited. Smoking cigarettes outdoors is not allowed unless in an enclosed vehicle or building or in a developed recreation site. Campfires in a pre-approved campground or enclosed fire pits are permitted. As a reminder, fireworks on publicly managed lands are prohibited. Please be advised that penalties for violating the fire ban include Class 2 petty offense with fines ranging from $100 to $500 depending on the number of offenses. If a fire causes damage to another individual's property, additional criminal charges may apply. These fire restrictions will remain in effect until further notice. For more information on fire-related circumstances on Colorado's Western Slope, please visit www.westslopefireinfo.com. At the time of reading this, the Stage 1 fire restrictions are still in effect. Altrusa Club continues community service after celebrating 49 years, Part 2. By Carol Ann McKelvey, Mirror staff writer, Montrose. For the past 31 years, Altrusa International has recognized Altrusa clubs which meet a stringent list of criteria to be awarded the Distinguished Club Award, formerly Quality Club Awards. Altrusa International of Montrose, Colorado is the only club within the worldwide organization to have been honored each and every one of those years. A distinguished club is one that has broad, active participation in volunteer work by its members, is recognized within its community for its contributions, has won awards for its projects, include members who serve at the district and international levels of the organization, maintains a local foundation as well as a club, partners with other non-profits, and many more measures of excellence. The local club on June 9th was recognized as a distinguished club for 2023 to 2024. Current Altrusa International of Montrose Club projects. Anciano Tower Holiday Gifts. Altrusa has a small budget to purchase necessary items, but many of these items are donated by some of the members from their store or business or personally, and the club receives some items from the community and presents each of the 49 residents with a gift bag each year. Annual educational scholarships. Altrusa International of Montrose awards scholarships each year to graduates of Montrose and Olathe high schools. The number of recipients may vary, and also there is a scholarship to Technical College of the Rockies in Delta. Bosom Buddies Walk and Run. Altrusa helps facilitate the Bosom Buddies Walk Run in October each year with a donation of $300, plus helps obtain and prepare donated food, helps with stuffing and handing out goodie bags. First grade book giveaway. Select and purchase an age-appropriate children's book to distribute to all first graders in the Montrose County School District each May. Through its efforts, a total of 1,600 books have been distributed to first graders over the past 3 years. Flashcard project. Provided practice, addition and subtraction flashcards to each second grader in the Montrose County School District for use in their classroom to help them master addition and subtraction at this critical learning age, and to approach the learning of math as a fun exercise. A total of 410 sets were purchased. The club will also purchase enough sets of multiplication and division flashcards for each third grader in the Montrose County School District. Haven House in Olathe is a transitional housing facility for people moving from homelessness to acquiring their own living quarters, which could be apartments or purchasing their own homes. Once residents have successfully completed their probationary period, Altrusa will refresh a resident's room or suite with new bedding, including mattresses, pads, sheets, quilt comforter, and pillow protectors. Pillows, towels, shower curtains, liners, shower hooks, clothes, hampers, trash cans, portable drawer units, area rugs, lamps, along with other miscellaneous items. The items placed in the rooms are the residents to take with them when they graduate from Haven House and move into their own homes. International Relations identifies a worthy international project to support each year. The local club has successfully completed projects benefiting children, students, the elderly and family units through education, literacy, construction, health and hygiene in third world regions around the world. Altrusa's partnership with Western Colorado Friends of the Himalayas ensures that funds are matched and a project selected that will impact the greatest number of disadvantaged residents in poverty-stricken rural communities in Nepal, with complete transparency and accountability. Prior projects have included funds to help furnish a clean-burning, double-walled steel stove for every household in a high-altitude village to eliminate chest and eye disease from smoke exposure. Providing double stone-built solar showers for boys and girls at a school, a first in the village, new toilet facilities for a school, and a central shower building for the villagers. A rototiller transported to a rural village relieved women from the back-breaking work of preparing, planting, and harvesting of crops with handheld tools. Donations of laptops, printer and copier enabled students to compete in the education field. Kiva microloans. Since 2009, the club has made 246 microloans, totaling more than $6,000 to people in 66 countries. Altrusans are able to select a borrower, lend a small amount of money, and once the loan is repaid, relend to another individual. A Kiva representative stated, "Through Kiva's work, students can pay for tuition, women can start businesses, farmers are able to invest in equipment, and families can afford needed emergency care." Love Hug Bears. Altrusa obtains the bears through a local store owner and Altrusa member, and each bear has a certificate of adoption attached indicating the bear is a special gift from Altrusa International of Montrose. The club delivers about 3 to 4 dozen bears per quarter to Montrose Regional Hospital. the bears are giving to children needing medical care at the hospital. MHS Astra Club. Altrusa of Montrose sponsors and supports the Montrose High School Astra Club with their projects and fundraisers. Service grants. Local non-profits can apply for service grants for a specific project or event. Welcome Home Alliance for Veterans Spouses Lunch. Altrusa of Montrose started taking a warm meal at least once a year to the Montrose Veterans Spouses Lunch beginning in 2022 for approximately 30 women. Altrusans have agreed to provide a meal 4 times this year for their monthly get-togethers. President Little said, quote, "It is our sincere pleasure to provide a meal to these women who have sacrificed for us, and we enjoy sitting down and talking with them." All told, Altrusa International of Montrose has given back to the community and internationally more than $950,000 in service grants, projects, Apple Awards and scholarships. Since 1946, Altrusa International has held observer status at the United Nations. At that time, Altrusa was the first international classified service club for then executive and professional women to have an official observer appointed to the United Nations. Francis K. Marquis, president of the New York City Altrusa Club. Marquis was a close friend to another active New York City Altrusan, Eleanor Roosevelt. First Lady Roosevelt delivered an address at the 1945 San Francisco UN Conference on International Organizations, and later President Harry S. Truman appointed Mrs. Roosevelt to chair the famous UN Human Rights Committee. In 1978, Altrusa's UN membership was assigned to the level of a non-governmental organization, an NGO. In roster status within the Economic and Social Council, in this capacity, Altrusa joined together with other NGOs empowered to attend open General Assembly sessions and UN briefings or conferences related solely to global and social concerns, and receive UN ground passes. In each biennium, the International Board appoints 5 representatives to attend and monitor UN meetings and briefings as allowed. Altrusa's representatives may participate in person or via teleconference. Quote, "We enjoy the friendship, fun, and satisfaction that comes from working together for the benefit of others," states an Altrusa International spokesperson. Quote, "Each club develops a program that is tailored to local needs, undertaking a variety of hands-on service and fundraising projects each year. One of our shared goals as an organization is to improve literacy, which we believe is the key to opportunity. Literacy is also the main focus of the Montrose Club. The Montrose Altrusa Club meets the first 3 weeks of the month at the Montrose Recreation Centre's Field House off Rio Grande Drive at noon. Primarily a service club, members also enjoy getting to know their fellow Altrusa members and forming lasting friendships. New members must be sponsored by an Altrusa member, and they are always looking for new members." Quote, 49 years. It's hard to believe that Altrusa International of Montrose is almost half a century old, exclaimed Karen Little, Altrusa International of Montrose Club president. Quote, 49 years is definitely a milestone, and we should all be so proud of the amazing work we have done in our community over these past years. I cannot wait to see what we do in the future years. The club still holds members at social events, as well as the membership recruitments. For more information on the local club, you can go to their website at altrusamontrose.org, or for more information, you may call 970-765-7666, or email altrusa.montrose@gmail.com. A look back. Nature Eater woman reported missing by Bob Cox. Montrose. The headline, which appeared in the Norwood Post on December 11th, 1925, revealed little of one of the most intriguing crime stories of the time in Montrose County. The article accompanying the headline described what led up to the missing person report, but as was common for the time, the person's first name was not used. Instead, she was only referred to as Mrs. R.E. Baird. According to several newspaper accounts and other archived information, Montrose County Sheriff A.W. Galloway first became aware of the incident when Deputy Lou Laback called him and asked that a search posse be formed. Evidently, a posse was formed and a search around the Nature Route area failed to locate the woman. The Norwood Post article, using information they copied from the Montrose Press, shed some of the first light on the story, giving rise to the case being more than just a missing person. In part, the article read, quote, "A search was made Sunday without avail, according to another message received Monday morning. It is stated that she, Mrs. Baird, was suing Mr. Baird for a divorce, and Thursday noon sent a registered letter to the Moynihan firm of Montrose, saying she would be here Saturday, but she has not showed up here. Sunday evening, Chief of Police Clyde Williams received a telegram from Frank Merrill of Sterling, Colorado, saying, 'Locate Mrs. R.E. Baird. Wire her address in Montrose immediately.' Frank Merrill, the son of Mrs. Baird, also relayed other information, including the fact that her name was Christie, and that Mrs. Christie Phillips and Ralph Baird had recently obtained a marriage license and were married. He also confirmed that the reason Christie Baird had scheduled an appointment with the Moynihan firm was to begin the process of divorcing Ralph Baird. On December 17th, 1925, the Rocky Mountain News ran an article that included information from several sources, including the Montrose Press. Frank Merrill had become very involved in the case, and the article pointed out other interesting facts. Frank Merrill, son of Mrs. Baird, is assisting the officers in the search. Mrs. Baird, a former resident of Sterling, Colorado, is an artist and pianist and has composed several popular songs. She was married recently to Ralph Baird, her fifth husband, shortly after her divorce from her fourth husband. Police authorities have expressed the belief that she may have been murdered and her body buried in some isolated spot. Baird declares his wife disappeared while he was absent downtown. Ralph Baird had so far failed to cooperate in the search for his wife. His lack of cooperation led those involved to focus on him as a suspect of foul play. Baird told investigators that his wife disappeared while he was absent from the home on an errand to the post office. Frank Merrill was adamant in his claims that his mother had been murdered and offered a $100 reward for any clues that resulted in finding her. Just a few days later, Ralph Baird also offered a reward, but his reward was just half of that of Merrill. The remainder of the year passed without locating Christie Baird, but Merrill and members of various law enforcement agencies had not given up. Meanwhile, other facts about Christie Baird began surfacing. Baird was her fifth husband, but she was likely not legally divorced from her fourth husband, a man named Phillips. Her third husband, William Partridge, was killed by another of her sons, Larry Merrill. He was sent to prison, but later had his sentence commuted. At about the time she became one of only two female game wardens in the nation. She also married and divorced a man named Jones. She was in the process of divorcing Phillips when she married Ralph Baird. As all the background started piling up, Christie had still not been located. Then, on January 26, 1926, a headline in the Daily Journal of Telluride began unfolding the facts of the case to the public. The headline read, "The Montrose Murder, Mystery Solved. Find Body Woman in Shallow Grave." The article went on to describe that the body of Mrs. Baird was found in a shallow grave near the Baird Ranch house on January 25th. It went on to explain that the body was found as the result of a confession on the part of Ralph Baird. 3 days later, the Montrose Enterprise, in its January 29th edition, printed the gruesome details that followed a coroner's inquest held in Naturita by Coroner Schermerhorn. The result of the inquest was as follows, quote, "We, the jury in the coroner's inquest held at Naturita, Montrose County, Colorado on January 26, 1926, find that Christy Baird came to her death near Naturita on or about the 3rd day of December 1925 from the effects of a blow upon the right side of her head. Said blow was delivered by Ralph Baird, her husband, with felonious intent." Within days, and in some cases hours, numerous newspapers picked up on the story and began describing in detail the confession of Ralph Baird. Most left out some of the gruesome details, but the Rocky Mountain News held nothing back in their January 27th, 1926 edition, printed under the byline, "Special to the News, Montrose, Colorado, Jan 26th. The article began by quoting the findings of the coroner's inquest held in Naturita, and went on to describe that Christy Baird's body was found after Ralph Baird confessed and showed where the body was buried. The ugly details of the confession were noted as follows. According to Baird's confession, he quarrelled with his wife on the night of December 2nd when he learned she was suing him for divorce. The next morning the quarrel was resumed. He said, and when his wife obtained a pistol, he struck her on the head with a flat iron. The blow did not kill her, he said, and he struck her a second blow on the head as she lay on the floor of their cabin. Despite the fact that it was daylight, he carried the body 100 yards from the house, placed her in a shallow depression, and covered her with some dirt. Other facts came out later, including the fact that Christy did not have a gun at the time of her death. On June 14th, 1926, Ralph E. Baird appeared before a judge, Welch of Delta, and entered a plea of guilty to second-degree murder. He received a sentence in the state penitentiary at Cannon City at hard labor for a period of 30 to 40 years. He was 50 years old at the time. Regional News Briefs. Catlin's funding for rural health care bill takes effect. Special to the Mirror, Denver. July begins the new fiscal year for Colorado state government, and the funding for bills passed and signed during the 2024 session. One such bill, Funding for Rural Healthcare, SB 24-221, is now law and in effect. The Act authorizes the Department of Higher Education to implement or expand existing rural track programs. The University of Colorado has a rural track program for medical students and places them in rural communities to study and practice healthcare. The funding mechanism of this bill transfers $1.7 million to the Rural Hospital Cash Fund to distribute money to rural hospitals across the state. The Act also appropriates about $867,000 to the Department of Higher Education. HD 58 Representative Mark Catlin explains that it is not a secret the state of Colorado is facing a shortage of healthcare workers, and the challenge is even greater in our rural communities. The legislation addresses a few of the facets, such as providing more funds for our rural hospitals and building the pipeline for young doctors and healthcare workers to get situated in rural communities. The legislature agreed this legislation was worth the investment, passing with 94% approval. The prime sponsors are Representative Mark Catlin, RHD 58 of Montrose County, Representative Megan Lukens, DHD 26 of Routt County, Senator Dylan Roberts, DSD 8 of Eagle County, and Senator Barbara Kirkmeyer, RSD 23 of Weld County. Representative Catlin says, a very important aspect of the Rural Track program is to help our towns bring home some of our brightest minds. Often, our number one export for smaller community is our kids. We raise them right to be leaders in their community, yet they struggle to find opportunities to come back home. This legislation helps build those opportunities for our young professionals. A great example is one of Montrose County's top students, Teresa Tafoya, who has been given such an opportunity. Tafoya is a graduate of Olathe High School and a fourth-year MD student studying at the CU School of Medicine. She is the CU Student Rural Programme Ambassador. And that is all we have time for today. Thank you for listening to the Montrose and Delta News.